Good morning.
Good morning.
चोंडेकर सर आवाज येतोय? आवाज येतोय? Good morning, किशन.
Yes,
येतोय.
yes, येतोय.
पाटील सर. प्रोफेसर सतीश पाटील सर. Good morning and all welcome to all of you, especially Professor Chondekar sir, Professor Satish Patil sir from the North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. Other participants and Professor Pawar sir, Professor Archana Mantale madam, Thete sir, Sawan madam, and all other delegates, participants and students. Today we have a third lecture in concern with the Wildlife Week. The main purpose of the lecture series is to aware the student and society about the wildlife, their importance, and their specifically conservation. Because all these things are essential for the sustainable development, not only the human being, but entire living things on the planet Earth. That's why we have organized such a lecture series. First day, there was Professor Ram Chauhan had delivered a lecture on the ant and engineer or the architecture in nature. Next lecture was by the Mr. Raman Upadhyay on the herpetofauna of Marathwada. And today with us, we have a great dynamic personality, Dr. Ramesh Chondekar sir from the Department of Zoology, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Ahmedabad. I request Mr. Ranjit.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir? Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Very warm good morning to all respected teachers and dear students. I am profusely overjoyed to take this opportunity to introduce our today's chief speaker of this today's Wildlife Week 2021 3-day series of today's talk. On behalf of Applied Parasitology Research Center, Department of Zoology, JS College, Jalna, I welcome our today's chief speaker, Dr. Ramesh Chondekar sir, who is a professor of most renowned university zoology department. Actually, sir merely requires any introduction as he is well known for his work in field of education and the research. And from like last decade and many years, many of the students are taking sir's valuable guidance in teaching. And addition to that, valuable guidance is also taken for the PhD philosophy doctorate. Many research students are taking guidance of Professor Chondekar sir, Addition to that, Sir has published more than 50 research articles in renowned national and international journal. Moreover, you can see Sir's quality of teaching just to click in YouTube the Biogenus Bamus Biogenus site. That Bamus Biogenus channel can show you how Sir's quality education, quality delivery of lecture is there, and many students are getting benefited of that. NetSet guidance, students like me who were taking NetSet guidance from sirs, even not only the NetSet guidance, but you, sir used to guide for the UPSC aspirant also. Today, he is going to deliver his lecture on wildlife importance to humanity, which is one of the, as Honorable Shinde sir has introduced in the beginning, it is one of the important lecture of today's series. And you will, I'm definitely sure that you all will enjoy this lecture because of sir's study and his great work in this field for many years. So without taking much more time of this session, I would like to welcome Honorable Chondekar sir for this lecture, today's lecture. Thank you, sir. Handing over to Chondekar sir.
Thank you. Thank you for this introduction, Ranjit. So, shall I share a screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, this is our topic, that is wildlife and importance to humanity. First of all, I would like to thank principal of this college and also my uh, friend, Professor Lakshmikant Shinde sir, for inviting me, for giving me this opportunity to talk with you. So let us start with our lecture. See, as we all know that what is a wildlife? Wildlife traditionally refers to whatever the undomesticated animal species that are left in the wild. So all these kind of animal species, they are considered as a wildlife. But nowadays, the concept of wildlife is broadened, and it also includes plants also. Now, see, we have been witnessing the decline of wildlife from the advent of the new technologies, or we can say the age of science. So the main reason, or we can say that the main reason for decline of wildlife is that we are exploiting the nature, we are exploiting the mother earth to the fullest and for our economic gain. Now, we know that a basic problem we are facing today is the low prices of agricultural products, whatever it may be. That may be staples, that may be fruits, whatever it may be. All these agri products, they fetch a very low price, and we are witnessing that particular kind of we can say that menace. And here we will see that how this particular low price in agriculture is giving rise to ill effects in our economy, different ill effects in economy. So see that what happens if agricultural produce get a very low price. Now we know that if agricultural products get a very high price, if it fetches a very high price in the market, what will happen? The people will not get enough money to spend in the market. You can see here, if agricultural products have a low price, what happens that because of that low price, the cost of living that decreases. Now, whatever the money they will spend, that money will be very meager amount for living purpose. Now, we know that people are earning money more than they utilize for the food. Now, what people will do with this particular extra money? So people will have extra money to buy consumer goods. So they will buy a consumer goods. Now, what happens because of the consumer, the consuming that particular goods, the consumption of consumer goods will increase, and in turn, that will support the industry. Now, we know that there are number of ramifications when a industry prosper. That means the laborers, they are getting a salary, they are getting a money. Even the government is getting the income tax or whatever the tax, sale tax, GST, all that. So that means the government is also getting some kind of money out of this prosperity of industry. Now, this government will use that particular money for betterment, for the development of the society. So this will increase the purchasing power of the society. So when government spends some money, or these people who are earning more, these people will spend the money. That means they will have more purchasing power in a society. Now, this more purchasing power will instigate, or we will say that it will stimulate the common people to spend more. So the society will be consumer based, or we call it as a consumerism. Now, what happens that because of this, whatever the society or the people they are in a society, they are spending more. But at the same time, what is happening with the farmers? Farmers are not getting that much amount of money as compared to other common peoples, or those who are employed in industry and other kind of things, or businesses. So here what is happening, the farmers are becoming poor. So what is the result of this? So the result of this is that you can see that these farmers will tend to increase the production. Now, what happens when we start, or we try to increase the production? See, it how we will increase by two methods. One is increase the input in a farm, or we will increase the area under cultivation. So this will cost, or we can say that this will change the land use pattern. Now, because of the change in a land use pattern, what happens that the other ill effects that will give rise to, you can see here, the urban and infrastructure growth will be there. For urbanization, for infrastructure growth, deforestation will be there. For increase in the farm output, the input will be added. That may be the irrigation, that means water supply, or irrigation, extra irrigation, or over irrigation of the fields, then increased use of herbicides and pesticides. So along with that, you can see here, there will be increase in water pollution. There will be over exploitation of land, so that after some time that land will again it will become infertile. So that means the because of this, and again the common people will again they will spend more. So consumerism is also there. That means they are using the natural resources. They are using the because of that use of natural resources, the more amount of CO2 will be loaded in the atmosphere. So all these kind of signs that will create a wildlife loss. So that means whatever we are seeing today, that is the result of this particular type of consumerism or a consumer-based economy, and that is why number of ill effects that we are seeing. We know that, or we are right now we are witnessing that the people, the farmers, they are agitating for the changes in the farm laws. Even we know that there is a too much stress on the natural resources like forests, lakes, and even on the oceans also, because of the over exploitation of the oceans. So that means all these kind of ill effects are due to this consumer based economy in our case. Now there are some certain other reasons are also there, because that is wildlife decline is there. Some reasons are like these wildlife decline. You can see here the most of the wildlife animals that are used as a food material or a food. You can see here this is a shark fin, and these shark fins are harvested from the ocean, and for that purpose they are killing that sharks, and they are using this shark fin for making such a kind of a soup. So this is a very expensive delicacy in five-star hotels, and because of that these people are killing the sharks. So merely that is for food. Then other reason for wildlife decline is pet. So most of the wildlife animals, they are taken as a pet. They are extracted from the, I will use the term extraction. They are extracted from the wildlife, and they are taken as a pet in their homes. Then another, the most dreaded kind of reason is this is medicinal ingredients. Some of the parts of these wild animals that are used as medicinal ingredients. For example, in case of a tiger, the skin of a tiger or hairs and whiskers of a tiger, they are considered as aphrodisiac. Even the bones, the powder of that bones, tissues of that tiger, that are considered as a medicinal ingredients. They are considered as a aphrodisiac, and because of that, even they are used in some certain kinds of Chinese medicine, and because of that, kind of pressure is there on the tigers also. Even for ornamental purpose, the tiger claws are also extracted from the tiger. So such a kind of misconceptions are there in our community and in our society, and because of that, these particular kind of animals, they are suffering. Similarly, you can see here, this is a horn of a rhino, and this horn of a rhino is nothing but an aggregation of the hairs of a rhino, and that forms a very strong and stubby structure, and this is totally made up of keratin. Keratin, we know that keratin is a protein, and it doesn't have any kind of aphrodisiac value, but still these people, they are poaching these rhinos for this particular kind of horn, and that horn is powder, and it is sold in a market as a aphrodisiac. So these are kind of misconceptions, but people are killing for this particular animal for that purpose. So it has been said that the 1 kg of rhino horn fetches 25 lakhs. So you can imagine that that's why tremendous pressure is there on a wildlife, and we are protecting these our rhinos from the poachers since last 50 years. Then another reason for wildlife decline is over exploitation. So you must have heard about the story of Miss Kerala. This fish is Pantius denisoni, and this Pantius denisoni is found in freshwater rivers of Kerala, and these uh, mm, fishes, they are used for as a ornamental fishes in a fishery, and they are extracted, they are harvested from these rivers, and they are over harvested, and because of that what happened that a very small population of these Pintius denisoni is remaining in the wild, and that's why government of India declared this species as a endangered species. So you can imagine that due to unabated commercial exploitation of such a kind of a natural wealth, or we can say that these animals or these wild animals that are on the verge of extinction. Then another classic example of over exploitation is palm oil plantation in Indonesia. You must have heard about this. The we know that the most of the popular oil today is palm oil, and this is the most cheapest oil in the market. It is just I have seen somewhere that it is 120 rupees per kg. So no other oil is as cheap than this one. But the ill effects of this is that when this palm oil is used in a bakery and confectionery industry, and because of that, it is in high demand, and this demand is provided, or we can say that this demand is supplied by the Indonesian government and Malaysian governments, and these Malaysian governments and Indonesian governments are what they are doing. They are clearing these rainforest, and instead of these planting these trees, they are planting these palm oil plantations, and that fetches a good amount of money for because of this palm oil plantation. But what is happening that because of this use or change in the land use pattern of this particular rainforest, what is happening that the wild animals like orangutan, that is um, on the
Sir,
verge of extinction.
excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा आवाज क्लॅरिटी मध्ये ब्रेक होते ब्रेक
आता yes.
आता येतोय सर क्लिअर. Yes.
So because of this particular plantations, palm oil plantations, the habitat destruction of these orangutan is taking place, and these animals, they are the only abode of these animals, orangutans, in the Indonesian evergreen forest. These extinction, or they are on the verge of extinction. So you can imagine that what kind of over exploitation of land that gives, or that can play havoc in the life of these particular animals. Then this another reason is wildlife trade. You can see here different types of materials that are synthesized, or we can say that made prepared from the wildlife animals or wild animals. For example, ivory, then big cat nails like this, then mongoose hairs, shaitu salt, musk, big cat teeth, even bones, even the hairs of these mongoose hairs are used for You can see here, this is a musk deer, and this is the musk that is used in a trade. Then you can see here the clothes out of made out of the skin of these wild animals. Then these even this is the most you can say that this is the most poached animal in India. This is pangolin, and these are the pangolin scales. These pangolin scales are supposed to be aphrodisiac in nature, and that's why these people are making or these people are making money out of this particular scales. And these scales are nothing but the keratin. So again, this keratin is used, and we know that what is the function of a keratin. It is just a protein, and it doesn't have any kind of a medicinal use, but still people have a misconceptions, and they are treating this like anything. So then mongoose hairs, it has been found that the that hairs of the mongoose that are used for paintbrushes. So this is again the new thing that is there in the trade. So we will find that in case of Uttar Pradesh, you will not find a single mongoose, and that is because of this particular trade that is going on for making the brushes. Then these people are not sparing even the butterflies also. From the Valley of Flowers, the collection of butterflies is taken, and you can see here such a type of packets are made for these butterflies, and these butterflies are exported to the foreign countries. So you can imagine that what kind of mindset these people are having, and these people are collecting these butterflies, and this is the decorative articles that are there, that are also formed with the help of these specimens of the butterflies. And this is the rate list of the butterflies. So you can see here Tinopalpus imperialis has a, if it is a female, then it will fetch 500 rupees. So this rate is about 90 to in between 90 to 97. So you can expect that 4 times increase in the rate of these particular um, rate list, or you can say that. So all these kind of butterflies, they are harvested from the Darjeeling, Sikkim, Darjeeling, Ladakh, Sikkim side of the country. So such a kind of a tremendous pressure is there on the wildlife because of the trade. Then another reason for wildlife decline is a man-animal conflict. You can see here, whenever a particular kind of animal enters in a village, what we do with it. You can see here. Then accidents are also there. In last 3 years, to from the 2018 to 2021, about 286 elephants have been died due to the train accidents. So you can imagine that what we are doing actually, whatever the train tracks are there, these train tracks are arranged, or they are clearly dissecting the natural corridors of these elephants, and because of that these accidents are the daily pattern. We can see in the Bihar, then Odisha and Assam region. So you can see here. Then another reason for this is poaching. Again, the poaching is a common kind of crime that is against these wild animals. These elephant is killed for its ivory. Then such a kind of uh, greatest hall that is there, that is found in Uttar Pradesh. You can see here, this is from the Uttar Pradesh. Then hunting is there. This tiger has been electrocuted. Then here also you can see the horns are removed with the help of electrocution. these poachers, they killed these rhinos and they went away with the horn. So such a kind of you can imagine that such a kind of a tremendous pressure is there on the wild animals, and that's why these wild animals are under the we can say that most of the wild animals, they are under the verge of extinction. Then why wildlife should be protected? What is the reason that wildlife should be protected? We have seen that what kind of reasons that because of that wildlife is declining. But why wildlife should be protected? That is, it has a direct value. First one is we know that the keystone concept. So keystone species concept. So this is a key, and if this keystone is removed, the whole wall that will be dismantled. So similarly, in a ecology or ecosystem, the tiger is a keystone species. And when we observe a tiger in a particular kind of a habitat, that means what? That means that particular habitat, that particular ecosystem is a very strong, and whatever the animals that are below its level, we know that the tiger is a top predator, uh, tertiary consumer. So if the tertiary consumer is a fit and fine, it has a population, a particular sizable population in that particular wild area. So that means that the below that ladder, that means the secondary consumers, then primary consumers, and herbivores, and then all these plants that are in a very good condition, and that's why tiger is thriving in that particular ecosystem. So we can say that this is how that a keystone species works, and these we don't have to manage the whole ecosystem or individual plants and animals in that particular ecosystem, but we have to just manage the number of tigers in that particular ecosystem, and you will find that the this particular ecosystem will be always healthy because of the presence of a tiger. Then we know that a domino effect is there. Domino effect, you can correlate with this one, that if one particular kind of a species is removed, what happens that the other species which are dependent upon that particular species, that will be um, or that will become vulnerable, that will go extinct, and because of that you will find that the whole ecosystem will collapse. So this is how that the domino effect works in case of a dominant species. Then we know that Rivet Popper hypothesis. We know that a particular kind of animal is very important in that particular ecosystem. So this concept, Rivet Popper hypothesis, was given by a Stanford ecologist Paul Ehrlich, and in which he says that, for example, he equates that particular ecosystem with a plane, and if that plane is a or we can say that if the rivets, these rivets of that plane that are somehow taken out, what will happen to that plane? For example, if the rivet from the chair of that particular plane that comes out, what will happen? The plane will move smoothly because that rivet is not important. But if a particular kind of a rivet which is present in the engine of that particular plane, what will happen? That plane will go down. So similarly, he is of the opinion that each and every species is like a rivet in an ecosystem. Now, some rivets or some species are very important for that ecosystem, and some rivets are not so important. But the removal of that particular important species, that will give rise to the decline in a that will decline that particular ecosystem, that will collapse that ecosystem. and we don't know that what kind of a species, or we are not or there is not much so research in these fields, and that's why loss of species causes a loss of energy and nutrient pathway, but the effect of it on the humans is not fully understood. So that's why each and every species in an ecosystem, that is important, and that's why we should give importance to these wild animals or wildlife. So this is again the another point is that these animals, whatever the animals that we see in India, in our country, these are the cultural heritage of our you can say the society. They inspire the various stories. For example, you must have heard about the Jungle Book. So the Jungle Book story is inspired by the Jim Corbett National Park. So that means all these kind of dances, poetry, myths, arts, cuisines, rituals, festivals, all are near to the nature, and because of that, we see it as a cultural heritage. So the richness of that particular wildlife, that is very important from the point of quality of our life in our country. So this is how that these wild animals are a cultural heritage also. Then these wild animals or wildlife is it is having a indirect value. People go in the jungles for leisure, for trekking, for bird watching. So for a cultural or aesthetic purpose, even some people are involved in a nisarga puja. So some wild animals are meant for, or they are very important from the point of ecological services. So these ecological services are very important for well-being of the humans, the production of agriculture. For example, the honeybees, the ecological services provided by honeybees are very important for our agricultural ecosystem. So that means each and every organism is playing a some larger or a smaller part as a service in our ecology, and that's why these animals are very important. Again, the wildlife is indirectly involved in maintaining the forest, thereby indirectly contributing in a water conservation and purification, recycling of nutrients, and providing a fertile soil. So such a kind of ecological services are cannot be quantified in terms of money. So they have a very immense importance to the society. Then I have told you about this, about 18% of the food crops that are dependent upon the honeybee population for pollination. So these pollination services are very important for the society also. Then again, the wildlife tourism is also there. It is a kind of we can say that another area where the government can generate a revenue. It can provide employment to different individuals that are residing in that particular wildlife zones. So it has been said that if we invest 10 lakh rupees in an industry, you will give only employment to only one person. But if we invest 10 lakh rupees in a wildlife tourism, nature tourism, you will give the employment to 10 students or 10 people. So that means this wildlife tourism is very important from the prospect of revenue generation as well as employment generation. So that's why wildlife is also important. So uh, we say that conservation of wildlife is the only solution, and these conservations will be or should be planned, and accordingly, these natural resources and wildlife will have a kind of balance, and it will sustain our society for longer period of a time. So again, it also includes wise use of wildlife as a natural resources, so that it will fulfill all the needs of future generations also. So thank you very much. If you have any queries, you can ask.
थँक्यू सर. तुम्हाला जर काही क्युरी असेल, काही शंका असेल किंवा त्याच्यामध्ये काही दुसरा जास्तीचा इंटरेस्ट असेल त्या वर्कमध्ये, यू कॅन आस्क फ्री प्रोफेसर चंद्रशेखर सर. बिडकर मॅडम. चव्हाण सर, काही क्युरी असेल तर विचारा. सुशील. काही क्युरी नाही सर, पण गृहीत धरू. आज गर्दी जरी नसली तरी दर्दी लोक होते असं म्हणायला काय हरकत नाही. अँड आय हँड ओव्हर द चार्ज मिस विनीता फॉर वोट ऑफ थँक्स.
Good morning to one and all present here. I am very humbled and honored to be the one making the conclusion of this event and presenting vote of thanks. It's our privilege to thank our today's guest of lecture, Dr. R.P. Chondekar sir, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this Wildlife Week by his great knowledge about wildlife and its importance to humanity. Thank you, sir. I will also like to thank the HOD of our Zoology Department, Dr. Lakshmikant Shinde, sir, for arranging this talk series for all the students, and would like to thank all the teachers and of Zoo Department and technical team who helped to arrange this webinar. And last but not the least, all the participants of this lecture for gracing this event. Thank you.
थँक्यू विनीता.
Thank you.
थँक्यू
Thank
पण
you,
आहे तोंडेकर सरांचे आणि सर्व पार्टिसिपेंटचे खूप खूप आभार. धन्यवाद.
Thank you.
Thank you.